Okay. Copy link. Come on, we're about to start losing people. Boom. Okay, we're good there.
Live from Austin, Texas, it's the internet's favorite advice show.
Answering for a friend.
Now, here's your hosts, Clint Baker and Mia Harms.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's Clint. I'm back, and I've got my buddy Chris T with me. Yeah, half of my buddy. There we go. Man, it's good to have you back on, Chris. How you doing? I can't hear you. The tech problems are back. I don't hear you. Let's see if this is my fault. What a bummer. We've successfully. Yeah, Chris, we lost audio. No, we can't hear you, man. That sucks. All right. Well, I'm gonna have to go back to a solo cam. And Chris, why don't you try and call me back here in a sec? All right. Well, cool. Let's check the chat and see what we got going on here. See who's here. Who is here? Oh, there's six whole people. Boom. And I'm gonna go back and try to get Chris in here. Chris, can you hear me? Yeah, we got no
I can hear you.
There we go. I got you back. All right, fantastic.
Am I here?
Yeah, we're here, dude. We did it.
Oh, beautiful.
We did it. All right. God bless everybody that waited for us. I appreciate it. Before we get started, guys, like, share, subscribe, click the notification bell. Let us know so we can let you know about future videos and live streams. All right. Oh my God, where's Chris? There he is. Bam. Awesome.
I wasn't going anywhere, I promise.
All right. Well, let's see. Yay! There's Michelle Slater. We got Natchet. We got from Glorious New Braunfels. There's little Michelle.
Welcome.
Welcome. And hello from Glorious New Braunfels. That's actually the real Dorn, Chris, is New Braunfels is the real Dorn.
Oh, yeah.
You're like northern.
As far south as south gets.
Yeah, you're like northern Dorn. Let's see here. And all right. And we got 6 watching. Okay.
Shout out to Game of Thrones.
That's right. Let's see here. Well, let's jump into some questions. These
I'm ready. We're going to solve the world's problems.
Yeah, we are. Let's see. Well, I got, I'm gonna skip that one. Okay. That's a weird one. All right. How about this? My partner broke up with me. Oh, I got to get on the question screen. I was
question mark.
Yeah. My partner broke up with me basically because he decided he wants to be alone for the rest of his life. He never learned how to deal with his emotions and thought that having a partner would unlock the key to his happiness and motivate him to get the help he needs. I wasn't privy to this when we got together, but now he was basically perfect. And the second we had a real conflict, he realized that a partner's emotions are too much for him to deal with. And now he decided he wants to be alone for the rest of his life. Not cool. What do you think?
Huh.
She's saying, what do I do?
Well, I mean, you can't force somebody to be with you, I guess. You know, if they don't want to be with you, you can try to have a conversation with them and explain to them how they feel. But I don't know. Somebody that's that desperate to be alone, it sounds like it's not going to end up as a healthy relationship. They're going to constantly resent you. I don't know.
I think
if that's really how they feel, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I think you're absolutely right, man. It's you can't forcing someone to be with you is not ever a good thing. Hey, Kim is here.
Hello.
I'd say you just got to figure a way to get over it and get out of there, you know? Or just give them a little breather. The person might just be going through a hard time, and you need to give them a little space, and maybe they'll realize if it's as perfect as you say, maybe they'll realize that they do need you after all, and they'll come back. But also, they also might be nice and don't want to tell you that they don't like you, or that there's something about you they don't like, or that you're a terrible person, and it's easier for them to say it's not you, it's me,
Yeah.
and fade off and Homer Simpson into the bushes, you know, and like, yeah, uh,
Yeah, that's it. You always be on the lookout for, the euphemism, the lighter way of telling you, look, I don't think we should be together anymore. I concur. That could be what it is. But if we assume this person's being for real and they're actually telling you the truth, there are high energy people and there's low energy people, and maybe y'all are just conflicting. You're very in your face, you're very, touchy feely, you're very romantic, they're very much introverted, and so they're just feeling overwhelmed. Maybe uh what they're really asking for is just a relationship with a little bit more space, like give me some personal time, stay out of my bubble. I'm not that kind of person. And if you weren't doing that and they don't know how to ask that question politely, then the easiest way to do it would maybe be to just bail out. But if y'all have that conversation, maybe you could figure it out. I don't know.
yeah. Yes, that's a good point. Some people are just different. Some people need to be with somebody all the time. Some people need a lot of space. That's definitely interesting. Michelle says he's a true introvert. Let him have it.
Yeah.
Let's see here. I'll put that on the screen. Phil says, "Save yourself the trouble. You dodged a bullet." That's probably true. I mean, it's true. I wouldn't call it a bullet, because bullet's a little bit more negative. Like maybe the person's not a terrible person. We don't. I guess we don't have enough
You
context.
dodged a pine cone.
Yeah.
It's not that detrimental. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. Were you in love with him? I don't know. I kind of feel, what do you feel like? I feel like as I get older, I become more introverted. When I was a younger man in my 20s, I wanted to jump on top of every picnic table and do a song and dance routine for everybody. And the older I get, the more that just sounds exhausting. Like, I just want to go somewhere with a few people and hang out and talk, low energy. You know what I mean? Like, maybe that's just what it feels like to get older.
Yeah, maybe that. I mean, I'm kind of the same way. You know, I'm not quite as.
Yeah.
I used to. I think I've seen you jump on some picnic tables over the years, but yeah.
Well, calmer from what I used to be is might still be a little crazy, but I know what you mean.
Let's see. Nope, he's
Yeah.
going through a hard time. Michelle says. Oops. Perfect was one. Perfect was one-sided, obviously. I think you're probably right, and I think maybe the person doesn't hate you. He just doesn't want to hurt your feelings, so he's putting the blame on himself. But maybe y'all just don't fit as perfect as you thought. That's
Yeah.
Darren.
People will do whatever they can sometimes to avoid having that uncomfortable moment. The moment where you say, I don't think we should be together anymore. It's like a heroin addict trying to quit drugs. They will keep doing this for 10 years to avoid this 30 minutes of discomfort. So whatever they can do to make this moment more comfortable for them, because they're going to feel uncomfortable too, even though they're the ones breaking up. Sometimes that's even the harder position to be in.
Yeah.
I've been guilty of this. I've held on to people for too long, and when I knew it was over 4 or 5 months in advance. It's a thing that we have to try to not do, and we have to try to be honest with people. But when they finally do have that moment, they're going to come as soft as they can, probably, because they're not comfortable either, and they're going to use the euphemisms and put it to you lightly and say that it's them. So
Yeah, sometimes you need to find a bar like the poorhouse. You know, when you need to
yeah,
when you just
that's that's my home team. That was my home team advantage in Austin when I was single and dating.
tell them about that. Like, yeah, like, hey man,
Oh Lord, no. My headphones are falling
Oh,
out.
your ears
Yeah,
popped out.
when I was dating on Tinder, I knew the bartenders at Poorhouse. I knew the manager Quay. Shout out to Quay, he's an awesome guy. And so I would always say see if they wanted to go get pizza at Poorhouse because it was makes the first date a lot easier when you know all the people around you.
Yeah.
So if you're having trouble going on a first date, find a place where you know people and get yourself some home team advantage.
Yeah, it's like Jerry Maguire when they fire him. He needs to like they took him to a crowded restaurant where you know what I mean, where and where you can't
Yeah.
make a scene. You're like, it's a perfect.
Yes.
You once told me that. You're like, dude, that bar is the perfect place. They can't make a scene. There's plenty of people around, but you can. And then and I know people. And then if they leave, I can hang out with the people that I know. I was like, wow,
Yeah,
that's
and then we
hilarious.
can all kind of because when after a breakup, it's real sad if you're by yourself. But if you reach out to a friend, I've done it before where I felt really sad right after a breakup, and then I call my buddy Tony, and now I'm laughing hysterically because I'm kind of replaying the events the way I would tell it as a story, and he's chuckling. So now I'm laughing, and you know it can soften the blow to have friends around.
Let's see some more of these comments here. Kim says everyone deserves a partner that will do the work. If your definitions of work are so dissimilar, then I don't see that a relationship could provide lasting satisfaction for either or both of them. Well said.
Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah, it
God.
doesn't sound like it has a lot of promise. You know what I mean?
And Melissa says, "Oh my God, I love this guy." Talking about you, Chris, and then she said, "You too, Clint." Made me feel better.
What's
Uh,
the last name? I can't read that last name.
Kaplu.
Oh,
And then
nice.
Michelle says, Michelle Slater says, as I become more older, as I become older, I'm only extroverted for the people I want in my life. Yes. Natchet says,
Oh,
it,
that's true too. Yeah. Go ahead.
if it's not fuck yes, then it's fuck no. All right. Phil,
Right? You know how they say when you're shopping, they go, "Well, if you don't love the shirt in the store, you're never gonna love it." You know what I mean? Like they.
that's true. All right. All right, let's do another question here. If you can tell, I've been racing all over town, and I didn't have as much prep. I have a bunch of stuff in my phone, but I didn't get to put stuff into type up the questions or anything. So we're just me. I I got Chris. It was like, dude, I'll jump on with you. So I just we're kind of by the seat of our pants in this one. So
Impromptu Chris, they call me.
hell yeah, here we go. Let's do another one. Question.
No one's actually ever called me that, by the way.
That's the one we just said. Uh.
And that's all for tonight, folks.
That's right. I just found out that my sister faked her pregnancy and then lied about delivering the baby stillborn. How do I handle this situation? I know there are going to be a lot of questions in this, but it started with the details about how the whole process went, and she did it alone. She claimed the baby was automatic. Okay, we're not even going to go into this. So your sister faked a pregnancy and then lied about the baby being stillborn. This was so good, I couldn't not talk about it. It's a soap opera, but let's just talk about that. How do you fake a pregnancy?
Yeah, I don't know. So basically, let me see if I can get the question straight.
Not to laugh at somebody's the sister knows about this and is like, wow, my sister did this. What the fuck do I do now? You know?
Yeah, so somebody went through 3 trimesters claiming to be pregnant and not pregnant, was able to bamboozle everybody in her life, and then said I had it as a stillborn. When actually she was never pregnant to begin with?
Yes.
Oh man.
Like how do you
I,
fake that? Doritos or like a pillow? Like what do you do?
I mean, yes, is it that cartoonish? A pillow duct taped around you or or do you just say you're pregnant even though you don't look pregnant and people go, "Well, maybe she's not showing yet," or I don't know.
Or do you
Do
just
people
push
not understand?
you just push out the whole time? I guess during COVID, you can stay home. You know what I mean? You could be like, "Oh, I'm staying home because of COVID," but oh boy, yeah, I only do video chats from the neck up because I'm embarrassed about
Well,
I
that's
don't
true.
know.
A lot of relationships are like digital. They're online now. Everybody's communicating through Zoom, and so you don't really see people as much face to face. I still see a lot of people face to face than you do, but some people work from home and they don't really go anywhere. And so it's not unreasonable to think for the last 9 months, I haven't seen a lot of people in my life. You could you could fabricate a story like that. We're still on how did this happen? We haven't even
Yeah,
gotten to the advice
I'm
portion yet.
wondering. I'm wondering, like, did the sister was she tricking her boyfriend? Like maybe he was about to bail, and
Yeah.
is this the same person from the last question that
I
was
don't,
like,
yeah, for real. Uh, maybe this is the answer to the last question. No, absolutely not. Yeah, I don't know well, how do you handle that situation? You go, huh? And I don't know, maybe you try to delve into the psyche of the person if you're close with them and go, what in the world is going on in your life that is making you do something like this? What's the
yeah,
deeper issue? No, so I doubt it's for kicks. There's something deeper going on that we need to get to the bottom of. They should probably seek therapy for. I mean, that's a
absolutely,
pretty big, yeah.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah. That's I think that's the main thing is you need to talk to your relative, your sister, and say, look, man, I'm not trying to judge you, but you need to talk to somebody, and uh, I
yeah.
mean, it's either
Approach them with understanding. You know what I mean? Yeah.
yeah.
Sorry, I'm bad at interrupting. I'm a new podcaster.
No, you're absolutely right though. You have to approach them with understanding, because if you come in hot, they're gonna bail or shut you out. And really, I think the problem is that you're overwhelmed with this. That's why you're taking the time to type this question out. So you're clearly overwhelmed. You might think about talking to somebody too, but you definitely shouldn't go to the father of the magic baby, and you shouldn't flip on your sister. You you should. Has that sentence ever been? The father of your magic baby. You should definitely
Somebody
talk.
just tuning in. Well, don't go to the father of the magic baby. Like, what movie review is this? They're doing.
uh,
Yeah, I don't know. Approach them softly, and the best thing to do would probably be to give them empathy because they're probably humiliated by what they did.
yep.
They're probably ashamed of their own actions, and so you don't want to come in with judgment. You want to come in with understanding if you're going to convince them to go see therapy about it, I would imagine. So,
Yeah, a wild one. Let's see what Phil says. Yikes. Melissa says, "Wow." Oh, that was actually an Owen Wilson accent.
wow.
Wow. Um, let's see here. Dude, bail. Just pay rent, work hard, and avoid the family drama. Totally, and that's another thing, dude. If I had a family member that was doing something like that, I think I might have to just back away for a little while. You know what I mean? It's the
Yeah, if
trick.
you're
That's
not
the
a
deal.
major part of their life, yeah.
Yeah. Do you want to go in and get into their life, or do you want to just stay out of it and let them? I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna just, hey, I'm right here if you need me, but I'm gonna be hanging out over here for a while. You know what I mean? I don't know.
I'm right here if you need me. There you go. That's just right when you find the story out. Hey, she faked a stillborn baby. I'm here if you need me. I'm here if you need me.
Chris, I'm gonna put your name on the screen real quick. I got listeners asking, hey, what's this guy's name again?
Chris Tompkins.
Yeah, I know. Tompkins. I'm putting this on the screen. I'm trying to find a good.
Who is this feller?
I'm trying to find a nice dignified font.
My name is Chris Tompkins. I met Clint Baker when we worked at Chewy's together up in Austin. We
Oh, look,
bartended together on Friday nights.
that's right. Back in the
When
good
his
old.
professional content creators are not available, he goes to his old bartending buddy. And we have a semi-professional podcast. We do our best.
Dude, you were
No,
one of my favorite people, man. You crack me up, and I actually wanna. I'm trying to hornswoggle you into doing a podcast where we talk about like news of the weird, where we can just have stupid conversations about weird stuff, the Olympics
let's do it.
the Olympics having cardboard beds, and then just riff on that. You know what I mean? That would be super fun.
Here's why. Here's the problem with that. I'm so out of touch with the world. I'm like off Facebook. I'm off everything. Like I'm like, who's president now? I don't know. I feel like I don't pay attention to the news enough. But that'll be good because I'll be blindsided with all the headlines,
Well,
and then you'll get my initial reaction.
if you didn't hear, at the Olympics right now, they have cardboard beds for the athletes because the last time they were in Brazil, when the last Olympics, people were just it just was a giant Brazilian orgy, and like people were just going crazy. So they said if we give them cardboard beds that will buckle, they won't be doing it. But it's like
They're trying to stop people from having sexual intercourse with each other.
yeah, and because you have all of the world's like most beautiful specimens of athletes that are all young and in their prime, still hormones kicking, physically fit, all these things, and they're just showing up. And it's like they get it. They're out of town and they get their own little trip. They go have a little fantasy trip, just like people go on a cruise and just hook up with somebody.
That should be the best part of the Olympics. They should leave that part in. Why else do you want to be an Olympian?
Exactly.
It's like going off to college. Who's ruining their fun?
Well, and apparently, there's all these Olympians that are like jumping on the beds and stuff to show that they won't buckle. They're like, in your face, I could have intercourse if I wanted to.
And also, horny 20-year-olds will have sex on anything. Cardboard, it doesn't matter.
Exactly.
If they want to have sex, they'll have sex. We put cinder blocks in, and they still kept fucking. I'm sorry. What can I say on this?
You're good. You're good. All right, hold on. Let's see here.
What audience are we reaching? Hopefully not small children.
Let's see. I'm gonna look here in the comments. Oh yeah. I got a question for here coming up, but people.
People have inserted that H in my name my whole life. There's no H in Tompkins, but you can leave that one up. I'm okay with it.
What H? There we go. Let's see here.
I thought you were gonna have to reboot your computer or something.
No. Okay, Phil Davis asks, I have a bad mustache, but I want to participate in Movember. Should I? Asking for a friend. He's got a bad mustache, folks.
What is a bad mustache? Like it doesn't come in fully, it's just kind of like peach fuzz?
Yeah, it's just patchy.
Yeah.
A bad mustache is like it's a little block. It's a little he looks like a okay.
A handlebar mustache?
Yeah, sure.
Well, look, be Mr. Patchman. Like it's only for 1 month. Just be Patch Guy.
Yeah, I'd say go with it, man.
Yeah.
Maybe.
You don't have to, you don't have to pose for any, big time family pictures or anything like that. Just be Patch Guy for a little bit, and then if it's really making you self conscious.
Yeah, as long as you don't have a little Fuhrer mustache, so you don't want that. That's the only one.
That's what the bad mustache is, Lord.
If your mustache looks like one of Colin Farrell's eyebrows, you're just to shave it and move on.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mr. Patchman.
If you have a bad mustache and you keep it, that's almost more honorable. You really believe in the Movember. I'm gonna have a mustache the whole time, but I always have a mustache, so it means less for me.
That does mean more.
Is that a good spin I just put on?
Yeah, that's pretty good, man. Pretty good. All right, let's do another question. Question?
Yes.
Boom. Okay. Been in a relationship 16 years. Admitted to having a shallow crush on a friend, Been treated worse than I ever have before in my life. It's been 2 months. Partner wants me to drop all contact with this friend who is married, of the opposite sexual orientation of myself. Nothing can or would ever happen, and I stated I had no desire to. Am I in the wrong? Okay. So this person, this female, said she had a mild crush on a friend, but that nothing would ever happen. But now her 16-year relationship partner is upset, treating her like crap, clear, and doesn't want her to participate with any contact with the ex. Uh, it sounds like this person is.
Wow.
It sounds like you shouldn't be telling your partner of 16 years that with somebody. It's what it sounds like to me. It sounds like you lit the wick on this bomb that's blowing up in your face right now. To me,
Yeah. If you've been together with somebody for a long time, you know how they're like. You know, are they the kind that would be jealous about this or not? If you have a mutual understanding with your partner that you can make comments like that and you know they're not going to care. But if you've been with somebody for a long time, I feel like most people would have an understanding that, they're probably not going to be comfortable with this. So maybe I should you're not wrong for having those
yeah.
thoughts,
So I'm gonna reread this
but
question. Some people wanted me to. Okay, been in a relationship 16 years. I admitted to having a crush on a friend. Since then, I've been treated worse than I ever have, and it's been 2 months. My partner wants me to drop all contact with this friend who I have the crush on, and who is also married. This person she has a crush on, who had a mild crush on, is married, and apparently she's still friends with this ex. And so nothing would ever happen with this person, but my current person. It's like, look, here's the deal. Well, one, it feels like you wouldn't say that. Like, why would you tell somebody that you had a crush on somebody? It sounds like you're trying to hurt their feelings or make them jealous a little bit or something. Because why would you say that? Like, that's like telling your wife you think you kind of have a crush on her best friend or something. Like, she's going to get upset by that. You know what I mean? And it's going to turn everything
yeah,
awkward. Um, like
yeah,
some things like
absolutely.
some things like that I think are better left unsaid. It's one thing if you're like, okay, we get past one time and they're like, okay, yeah, if I ever meet Angelina Jolie, we have an arrangement. I have a pass on that. And and if she ever
Right.
meets, John Hamm or whatever, the first people that just jumped in my mind. That's one thing, because that's a fantasy person that's not real. Even though they're real people, they're not real to us. They're like magical fairy tale people that we see on TV, and they're not real. But
Yes.
when you're like, hey, I kind of always wanted to bang Steve, that's not going to go over well. You know what I mean? Like Steve, who texts you 4 times a week. Yeah, even though he's
Yeah.
married, that just makes you think like, oh, are y'all having a thing? Or like, why would you say that? I don't know. It's weird. All right, let's.
Yeah. I mean, there are probably relationships out there. Like, I feel like if my wife told me something like that, we would just giggle about it. But we don't have a lot of jealousy between us,
Yeah,
and so we kind of have that understanding. We make stupid comments like that all the time with each other, but that, I feel like, just shows me that, I feel like we can trust each other on that level to be able
yeah,
to be comfortable. So what's going on? Why is that such a blow to him? I mean, a lot of guys aren't going to want to hear that because they want to be the alpha in your life. So it's, if you don't feel like, if you didn't have that understanding with them, it's better to not say it.
yeah. I mean, I
Of
wouldn't
course,
really.
the advice is what to do now, like he's saying, cut off all contact. That's a tricky one.
Yeah, I mean, clearly the guy's insecure, but I feel like if you've been married 16 years, you would know what you were doing. When you say that, when you tell this guy that, after 16 years, you're gonna, I feel like
Right.
this person's playing games, and they don't like the result of their games. And of course, I'm just using the clues in front of me to come up with this theory, but still, it's like, man, don't play around unless you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. Is what they say.
Yeah, for sure.
You know?
Yeah. I mean, if you think that if this was an attempt to like sabotage the relationship, then I guess you got what you wanted. If it wasn't, and you were really being honest, and you weren't playing games, you know, maybe cut off contact for a little while. Things cool off. You're like if you're
Yeah,
in the middle of the fire right now, he's feeling those feelings. He's feeling insecure about it. So just let him chill and maybe cut off contact temporarily if you really love this guy and you want to stay with him. And then nobody stays mad about anything forever. And then he's going to not feel insecure about it anymore. And then, a year or two later, you're going to go, oh, by the way, we all went out and Steve was there, and he's not going to care. You know what I mean?
yeah.
So if you
Or
want,
hey,
maybe just temporarily capitulate and do what he says.
or it could be like, hey, I'm just warning you, Steve's going to be at the Christmas party. You know what I mean? Like,
Yes, exactly.
yeah,
You can't avoid Steve. He's everywhere.
Steve. Uh, Steve's. I always think Steve's the guy where I heard these women and they're like, "What are you gonna do tonight?" She's like, "I'm gonna get Steve. I'm gonna make Steve get me pregnant." And like it was a trap. And she left, and we were like, "Who the fuck is Steve? We gotta warn Steve!" Like everybody, everyone at the place was like, "Dude, we gotta warn Steve. It's a trap."
Right.
Poor Steve.
There's a bomb headed for Steve's house right now.
Yeah, we never knew. We never knew what happened with Steve. Let's see here.
Oh man. There's a Steve Jr. now, is probably what happened.
Emotional affairs are wrong. Yes, emotional affairs are wrong. That's the other thing too. Michelle, you nailed it. It it's it's one thing like if you had a crush on him a long time ago, but if you're still in contact with this person and happens quite a bit, uh that's that could sometimes be more painful. Uh is the emotional affair. And he's like, dude, I always thought you guys talked a lot anyway. You texted this guy all the time anyway. Now you're telling me you've had a crush on him. It's like now I get why you text him back at 11 o'clock at night. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
yeah,
It's just asking for trouble from here on out. Any interaction you have with air quote Steve he's gonna be watching you more closely, and he's gonna feel uncomfortable anytime Steve's around. So
Well, I have another question that's similar.
all right, let's hear it.
Uh,
I'll say this though, you know, people really don't I don't feel like people choose how they feel about other people. You know what I mean? Like you can't help the thoughts you think. You
yeah.
just think the thoughts. It's not like you decided to think something. A thought pops into your head. So it's what you do with that thought. Do you go, I'm a human. I found somebody else attractive. You can't help that. That's going to happen. Do you pursue that? Do you try to turn that into something? Do you try to establish a deeper relationship with this person in a romantic way? That's the emotional affair. But if you just have the thought, like, and you don't have the kind of relationship where you could express that to your significant other, then, try not to do that because it's going to cause drama, obviously.
Yeah, Michelle says she's telling for a reason. Which who knows what that could be. And then Phil says, this is a projection. And then Kim says, I've admired men who were taken but never acted on my inclination. I've also had mutual admiration with folks where nothing ever happened. There's nothing wrong with knowing that other folks are hot. Just don't fuck around and you won't find out. Absolutely.
I concur. Yeah, I concur.
But
You're only human. You're going to have the thought.
yeah, I mean, you're gonna see people, but you got to take in consideration your partner's feelings and think, hey, And I had a weird thing one time. I think I told this story another time, but I had a weird thing where I was in Europe with my ex-girlfriend, and I don't remember what country we were in, but she kind of was like, hey, I kind of want to tell you something, but I don't want to hurt your feelings. I don't want you to I don't want to make you feel insecure or anything. And I go, oh, go for it. It's cool. Whatever. What do you got? And she's like, there's a lot of really good looking men here. I keep seeing these people, and the only reason I want to say it's just that they look different than people in at home, and I'll go, it's cool. I was like, I've been biting my lip from saying anything and like trying not to get busted because there's a bunch of beautiful women here too, and it was just a
Yeah,
weird thing that sometimes when you travel and you're in a new place, there's all kinds of there's just people are different, you know what I mean? And so we were in Europe, and just like, wow, all these, it's exotic, you know what I mean?
for sure.
You know,
Yeah,
when I grew up in South Texas, it's mostly Hispanics, and it was like I'd come visit Austin, and there was all these blonde girls, brown hair blonde girls and stuff, and I was like, whoa, and then I moved here. Now when I go home and visit, I'm like, man, there's a lot of hot Hispanics down here. You know what I mean? It's funny. It's like
right.
you always want what you don't have in your backyard. But it was just really funny. But she was worried about it, and then I told her it was cool, and we were all good, and it was fun. And
Yeah,
then I was like, yeah, well, don't look too hard, okay? Don't make me feel
right.
completely plain. Um, okay, here we go.
Yeah.
Well, here's
The
another
question,
question.
I feel like we didn't answer that one fully, but because it's hard, that's the tricky situation is what do you do now that he knows? You know what I mean? Like that's the difficult part is he's saying cut off the contact
I
and
I
we're
think,
saying and we're saying you shouldn't have done it in the first place.
yeah. Well,
But that's a tricky one. I don't know.
I think you nailed it, and I think it's like, look, um, how important is this person to you? Do you want to stay with the person? If you do, you should play ball for a little bit and just back off on the contact, you know?
Oh
And
yeah, I did say that.
yeah,
Oh, I
you did
forgot
say it.
about
And so if you do that, it's because you value this person and you want them in your life. If you're not willing to do that, it's because you don't care enough for this person to keep them in your life. And I'd say, like you said, just do that for a little bit, and then sooner or later they'll cool down. But right now they have hurt
for
feelings,
sure. Yeah.
so you need to tiptoe around those. Um,
All right, my apologies. I forgot I already answered. We already answered.
you answered those for a friend. Uh, okay. And this is the same ballpark question, so we're gonna keep this rolling. Okay, asking for a friend. What do you do if your current partner doesn't want you to be in contact with an ex you dated while you and the partner were on a break? Uh, on
Pretty
social
much the same as the
on
last
social
question.
media, etc. This is very similar to the other thing, but this isn't
Yeah.
somebody that was a friend. This is actually an ex of yours.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Your current partner doesn't want you to have contact with the ex. Is that
Yeah.
the question?
Yeah, and it's a person you
Um,
dated while y'all weren't together. It was not like anybody you cheated on or had a crush on. It was actually like it's your ex partner, ex boyfriend, ex girlfriend.
yeah. I don't know. That's a tricky one, and it falls into the same categories of what to do about it as the last one would. I
Yeah,
mean, how close is the ex like a big part of your life? Or do they work with you? I mean, are you gonna run into them? Or are you gonna have to put forth effort to run into them?
yeah.
It seems silly to cut off communication online through social media and stuff like that, but you don't
Ag-
have to go have a one-on-one beer with them.
yeah. Again, also, if you're constantly liking their posts or sharing their posts or commenting on their posts, if you've got a jealous partner, they're gonna notice that
Yeah.
maybe.
What message are you sending with your interactions? If you're just truly interacting, it'll show if you're really into them and you're constantly sharing all their stuff, that's going to cause problems for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think I would just keep my distance for a little bit. You know what I mean? Maybe a like or something's okay. That way you could show your ex, hey, we're still cool. You give him a like every once in a while. But if you're actually like commenting and getting into an online conversation in the comments of something, then all of a sudden it's like, hey, they're having a thing. You know what I mean? Like, uh, you know.
Yeah.
And again,
Exes are funny. It's a funny, tricky situation.
it's weird because you should be able to talk to whoever the hell you want. But the deal is you're dealing with somebody's feelings, and so y'all have to be considerate of each
Yeah.
other's feelings. So if you everybody wants to be right, but sometimes
Yeah.
being right's not what it's important. Sometimes being with the person is important. So, um,
I like that.
I even wrote a song about that. You know, how does it feel to be right and being all alone? That's the deal. So do you wanna be with this person or do you want to be right?
Yeah.
That's ultimately that's the question. It's
If
like
you care about how they feel, you will probably not do anything that's going to make them uncomfortable. You
yeah,
know what I mean?
it's like I shouldn't have to comb my hair and shave and dress nice to go be in society. I should be able to go look like the caddy for Happy Gilmore if I want to. You know what I mean? But if I don't, if I do that, I might not get as many dates or friends or likes or whatever it is, and that's just a thing. We
Yeah.
sometimes we shouldn't have to do anything. You're a independent person. You should do whatever you feel you want. Yeah, but sometimes you got to play ball with other people to get along with other people, and that's in
Yeah.
business and bands and relationships. So there you go. And now you know.
Being in a relationship is all about compromises. So, learn how to work with each other. Learn what's their personality, what's your personality, and start making compromises with stuff. You're going to have to meet in the middle on certain things. You want to be best friends with all your exes, and they would rather you not uh, come into contact with them. If you really care about the person, maybe you'll, think twice before you start delving into those old relationships. You know what I mean? I don't
And
know.
we have the other side of the token too. Like Kim says it all boils down to this: if you don't trust your partner implicitly, not to betray you, then you have the wrong partner, and that's true too. But
Yeah,
I would also say that some people have quirks. You know what I mean? Not everybody is confident. Not everybody, you know what I mean? And if you find somebody that's perfect scenario, but maybe somebody's not 100% confident all the time. And
yeah,
the perfect relationship is being with somebody that understands you're not 100% confident all the time. And so that person does what they need to do to stay with you to make you feel okay, and vice versa. You know what I mean? It's like not everything is
yeah,
a perfect scenario, and so sometimes you got to make concessions. And I can't think of the guy's name, but he's a public speaker, and he calls that the price of admission. It's like,
yeah,
it's like if your partner is just beautiful and super nice, but they have a peg leg. They're like have a pirate leg, and man, and you just have you hate wood, and they've got a peg. I don't know. I just made that up as
for sure. No, I get
no,
where you're going. I like it.
or the what. They have
You
a
knew what you were getting
Oh,
yourself into. You know what you're.
they have a lazy eye or something, whatever, you know what I mean? And it's like which is a beautiful feature that a lot of supermodels have. You'll notice. But so I'm not talking smack. I'm trying to make a point that sometimes or they stutter. I
Yeah,
stutter. There you go.
yeah,
Sometimes that everything about them is perfect, but this one little thing that you don't like, maybe they have a scar or whatever it is, but there's one flaw that you don't like, but the rest of them is great. Well, you make your concessions. You just accept that. That's the price of admission. The one thing they do, they snore. Yeah, I snore. That's the price of admission. It's like, and is it worth being with this person, putting up with their snoring? Is it worth being with this person? Absolutely. Or fuck no, I'm out of here. You got to make that choice for yourself. And so I think some people being a little bit insecure, that's part of it. Now, if they're so insecure that they're abusive to you, that's not okay. And you need to
yeah,
figure out if that's a permanent thing or if you need to get the hell out of there.
yeah. There are levels to everything.
Yeah.
They can be overly jealous. You can be overly flirtatious. But when you get into the relationship, it's all about give and take. Like try to figure out a happy middle ground if you really love each other. And if it's not connecting, then that relationship isn't meant to be. A jealous guy doesn't need to marry a really flirtatious girl. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
just going to
absolutely.
be, I don't know.
And I listed a bunch of those things because I didn't want somebody to be like the national representative for 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 pirates comes at me and it's like, Clint was talking about peg legs, and like,
Right.
I was going to talk about hook hands, but I didn't. But yeah, I was just trying to make an example, like the
Yes, but no, you made a good one. If you know something about, if you know a person's flaws, if you know what they're struggling with, and you choose to be in the relationship with them anyway, help them work through it or accept it for what it is. You definitely don't want to go in and try to change it. You don't
no.
want to go in and try to change somebody. So,
Guys, the peg leg was a metaphor. I was speaking
right.
metaphorically. Let's see here. Melissa says she tells all her boyfriends that she's in love with Tom Hardy, and it's worked out fine. I'm in love with Tom Hardy. Tom Hardy's badass.
That's what I was about to say. He's a hard one to resist.
Yeah. Michelle said she's not a victim because of his reaction. His feelings are valid based on his interpretation of the situation. Yeah, what it boils to, it's different, and you got to really just be careful. Not careful. That's the wrong word. Be considerate. That's all it is. People, if you're thinking about yourself in a relationship, then you're screwed. If you're thinking of the other person, that's a perfect relationship because you're you're worried about your. And when I say worried, I mean you're more interested in your partner being okay. Your intent is for your partner to be okay. Then you're not going to do something stupid or say something stupid if you want your partner to feel okay. Because you're spending your time wanting them to be okay. Asking for a friend.
This is like the other two questions.
Yeah, I lost. Yeah, and I just got a comment that I lost my Joe Rogan jacket. Yeah, I just took it off. Took it off. Let's see. Let's get some more interesting questions. Oh, this is a fun one.
Last week there were maggots on people's dishes and stuff.
I know. Again, I didn't have as much time to.
I'm better with maggot questions than I am with relationship questions.
Well, here's an interesting one. Got the question going. I went on a date. He's 55 and I'm 43. Anyone dated with a bigger age gap? Advice? Boom.
55 and 43 is 8 years, right?
50. That's no. That's more years than that. That's 12 years.
55 and 43. Oh yeah. We're going.
Yeah.
Two more.
12 years.
There we go.
Oh, okay. We'll do that. So I can answer this. I can answer this. Age gaps are nothing. I'd say if you got an age gap where somebody's 21 and you're 35, then people are like, ew, But once you're 43, you could date a 70-year-old and nobody's going to bat an eye. You know what I mean? Like the older you get, okay, y'all have been grown-ups a while. You've got your lives together. When you're a little younger, it looks like, oh, she's just trying to get him to pay for her college, or like this gross old man's just trying to get some young action.
Right.
is what it looks like. That's not always the case. In fact, I had a friend who the other day he's like, yeah, I was sitting here. He was sharing a drink. They got a flight of something at some place or whatever, and he was sharing it with and the people across the bar were looking at him like, ew, like he was gross because it was a 24-year-old and this dude's in his 50s, but it was his daughter, and he could see them like and his wife was over here talking with somebody else, and it looked like, and he was like over here tasting this drink, and she was over there tasting the drink, and he looked and saw the looks in their face, and he was like, it's my daughter, you douchebags.
Right.
Yeah, so it's pretty hilarious. But so yeah, there is definitely, you do get some sideways looks the bigger your age gap gets, but
and it's a gradation. If people it starts mattering less and less the older you get. 40s and 30s. I mean, your brain, it's kind of different in your 20s because they say your prefrontal cortex fully develops at age 25 or whatever. Sometimes in females it's a little bit earlier, and sometimes in males it's a little bit less, I think. But that's basically like your decision making. Like, I remember when I got to 25 or around like 25 or 26, like I remember feeling different. Like I was like, oh my gosh, consequences. You know what I mean? Like, you're a different person like 25, 26 on. And so the differences between people from like 27 to 20 or 25 to 19 are going to be much greater. But you know, the vast changes in your personality between 30 something and 40 something, or 40 something and 50 something, even more so, which I believe is what the question was. You're good. He might die sooner, but
Yeah. Which isn't funny when you're which isn't funny when you're 65 and he's 78. You know what I mean? Then all of a sudden you're like,
yeah,
"Oh, man." Um
yeah.
but
This
yeah,
guy can't even walk.
yeah. Well, Kim said, let's talk some nursing questions."
I'm ready. Throw him at
What do
me.
you got? Who's got a nursing question out there? Somebody hit me with a nursing question. Um All right, here I'll throw one while they're questioning it up
Let's hear
in
it.
the chat. Uh, if you, how hard is it to get through nursing school? Is was it as hard as you thought it would be, or did you think it was going to be hard, or did it go by
I
quick? Did it like where all of a sudden like bam, I'm a nurse? Like how was it? Because I have friends
I
that
thought
that have tried to get into nursing school and not made it in and have gotten discouraged a little bit. And I keep telling them like, look, just try again. This happens, you know. Like what? So
yeah.
what do you say about all that?
Sometimes getting in is the hardest step, you know. For certain schools like Austin Community College, they have a really everybody wants to go there because it's one of the more affordable ones. So, you know, sometimes they have a wait list. You have to wait out for us. Like the first time you apply, you don't get in. You have to wait till the second round because there's so many candidates. There are a lot of people that are coming out of you know, their prerequisites and they're wanting to become a nurse. And Austin Community College is the affordable way. But once you cross that hurdle, if you keep trying to get in and you get in, I feel like it was a little bit, it was made to feel a little bit scarier than it actually ended up being. I was really nervous about it, like in the very beginning. I was like, oh my gosh, this is a real career. This is serious stuff, you know, and it is. But when you're, you know, you go into it with this imposter outlook, like the first time you put scrubs on and walk around in a hospital, you think you're the guy that, like in the cartoons where they pull somebody into the closet with a uniform on, then you hear them beat them up, and then you walk out with their disguise on. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm not a real nurse. You know, you're walking around, but you just start to kind of, it starts to feel normal. You get into a groove, you start to understand what they're talking about. I mean, it's all about reps. You start seeing the same situations over and over again. And I mean, anyway, I thought it was going to be more daunting than it actually ended up being. And I think if you really, you know, you have to put in a lot of work.
Yeah.
You do have to. I mean, every moment of free time I thought I had, I was like, I better be reading my textbooks or something. Like it really did feel like I needed to be working a lot. But if you do that work, you're gonna most likely pass. You know, you
Yeah.
have to put in the work. But
I'm sure it's like that with you know, being a paramedic or a firefighter, anything where it's like, oh, okay, I'm out of training, and now it's like, now I have to do this thing. You know what I mean? Like now
yeah,
I'm not the guy that I see doing this. I'm like actually got to do this. It's crazy. Real nursing question from Michelle. Do you have to be desensitized to blood and bodily fluids to be in that business?
most people are. I feel like there was a girl in nursing school. I remember we had to do our blood sugar day where we learned how to like prick people's fingers and get your blood sugar. You do that in the lab the first day on each other. And she pricked somebody's finger and fainted immediately. And we were all like, oh my gosh, is she going to make it? Like, you have to do this constantly. And, but then, you know, I guess she kept on going, and I don't think she ever fainted again. It's one of those things where you probably, if you don't have the stomach for it initially, but you really have the drive to want to do that, then you're going to acquire it. It's like a bad smell. You don't smell it after a while. And the same thing with that. I feel like you probably just get used to it. So, but most nurses, I mean, we always laugh the stuff we talk about at the lunch break. I mean, we're talking about necrotizing fasciitis of the perineum, which is like the area between your anus and your testicles, or you know,
That's the taint.
and we're eating lasagna while we're doing this. If you have to bleep that out, that's fine. I'm sorry, but
No,
you
you
know,
can. I walked by a bunch of nurses and I heard them say the word urethral sphincter, and I was like, whoa, what? And they're like, oh, sorry,
Yeah.
did you hear that? And there was a whole story attached to that. But yeah, there's
Hang on 1 second while I find this headphone that dropped.
uh oh, there we go. You got it? Can you hear me still? Look at this. Uh, I think maybe we're going back in the ears. Yeah, we're back. Yeah, we're back. We're back. We're back. I can hear you. Can you hear me? I can hear you. Boy, that got weird. All right. I have a feeling I'm about to get another phone call from Chris here. Hey, man. There he is. He's going to call me right back. I better get rid of this divider. This is just so unprofessional. Man. Bam. Look at that. Hey, what's up, man? I
Can you
can't.
hear me?
There, no, I can't. Okay, I got you, man.
Sorry about that.
Hey, no worries.
We're back. Where were we? Necrotizing fasciitis of the
That-
taint?
Something like that, or the urethral sphincter, something like that.
Yes, we all. If you poll a room full of nurses, I feel like most of them will say that they're not as bothered by blood or feces or urine, but nurses always say it's the mouth stuff that grosses them out the most. It's the mucus, it's all the gurgling and the oral cavity, which is the one we eat from, for some reason gives the most shivers up people's spines. I feel like if I were to poll my colleagues, it seems like that's the consensus.
We have a mutual friend who I won't call out, but the one that makes the really strong patty wax.
Yeah.
And she was a dental. That's talk about speaking in code. Yeah. So anyway, this friend of ours, I think I've told this story too, but she was a dental. She went to school to be a dental hygienist, and she went in on her first day, and somebody had like meth mouth real bad, like just a jacked up grill, like really bad. And she went in there, and she was like, and she ran out of the place, and the dentist runs out. It's like, hey, are you okay? And she's like, I'm sorry, I can't do this job. And it's like,
I'm sorry.
and
I have to be in another career.
yeah, you just went through school and now you have to find another career. That's a crazy. I feel like they should
I
have
think
had.
I want to be an insurance person.
Yeah, I feel like they should have had like like go check out my job day or something.
Yeah. You do. I feel like you should have somewhat of a strong stomach, or at least try to acquire one. Which, if you're around the stuff enough, you will, despite your best efforts, you're going to acquire. It's the smell of shit is never going to smell good, but it'll probably bother you less. uh, it's like my brother was an airline pilot, and he went to Louisiana Tech and he majored in aviation. And when you first want to be a pilot, they start taking you up in single engine Cessnas, which are, you'll throw up in a thing. Like you feel every little move in those planes. And he wanted to be a pilot. And the first 13 times he went up in the air, he threw up. And he started thinking like, oh my gosh, like how am I gonna be a pilot? I can't be like Johnny Pukes every single time we take off. But on the 14th time, he didn't throw up, and then his stomach just said, "Okay, I guess if this is what life is going to be like now, then we'll change." You know what I mean? So
Captain Pukes. It's like a French.
yeah, puke.
Yeah, and it's not always going to be. I guess everything when you first start, you're in the front lines. You're the one wiping butts, and then when you become the supervising nurse, you're not the one you're the one who delegates those things. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's like you want to help people out. You can't just grab the nursing assistant every time. You don't want to be that guy. It's like none of the bussers are going to want to bus your table if you don't ever pre-bus them for all the restaurant people out there. Like like do your part and help out, and they're going to be so much more willing. If you and them work closely together and you try to make their life easier, they're going to try to make your life easier when push comes to shove.
Phil wants to know what's the weirdest encounter that you've had, like funniest, not goriest, although that might be interesting too. And I have a funny one that you've told me, but once you give your answer, I might suggest this other question here or
Oh my
other
goodness,
one to say.
the
The
weirdest encounter I've ever had. I've had so many. I feel like it's constant. I work in the post anesthesia unit, so everybody's drunk, everybody's on drugs, they're waking up from anesthesia, they're talking nonsense, you know what I mean? So people say all kind of wacky stuff when they wake up. Um, the weirdest thing, I had one lady was so anxious before she went. I don't even know how much of this I'm supposed to
Oh
say
yeah,
right
yeah.
now.
Well, here I
I
got a.
mean, I won't. I'm not gonna obviously not gonna say any names, but or I would never say the name of somebody, but like I've had some strange encounters.
How about
I'd have
the?
to brainstorm on that one though.
Yeah, I don't want to get you in trouble. I don't know how
What's the
much you.
one you're thinking of?
I was thinking about if are you thirsty in Spanish?
Oh my goodness.
This
Yes.
this
Okay.
this is a good story.
I can speak. I had 4 semesters of Spanish at the university. I worked at a place where half the staff spoke Spanish and Chewy's, and I dated a girl who spoke fluent Spanish. So just by dint of my life, I'm able to speak pretty good Spanish. I can get the basic ideas across, but it's like I know enough to confuse people. You know what I mean? And I thought because thirsty and triste is a word in Spanish for all of us who don't know Spanish. Triste, and I thought it meant thirsty. And so when people wake up, they have cotton mouth. They've been in anesthesia on a ventilator, and a lot of people they want to drink. So I would ask patients a lot. It's a common question. I say, "Estás triste? Are you thirsty?" And that's not what it means, though. Triste means sad. So for about a year and a half, Spanish patients were waking up to me, and I was asking them if they were sad. And here's the most beautiful answer: nobody ever was. They were all like, "No, I feel fine." You know what I mean? So it was like, oh, I went, oh, so you're saying triste is sad, not thirsty.
Yeah.
I'll have to add that to my lexicon.
No, but I'd like some water, please. Like
Yeah.
at least a cup. I wonder how many thirsty um Spanish speakers you deprived of water. Like how many of them are like, but wait.
Yeah. Well, everybody eventually gets the water.
Yeah.
That's just an icebreaker question. I'm gonna bring you something. Uh, but yeah, are you sad? Should I be? I don't know. I don't understand the question. And luckily, people are so confused and so drunk on anesthesia that the first 5 minutes they don't really remember much of it. So you can try all your material out on them, and they won't judge you for it. They'll forget it all.
Have have you somebody asked ghost encounters like when people pass?
I haven't noticed anything.
Ha, have you ever been around? Like, I don't want to get morbid in your job or anything, but have you ever been around when somebody passed, and then if when they do they just like wheel them out, wheel another person right in, or did they have like, okay, we got like a 12-hour cooling period for this room, we need to just like or like, because it just seems weird,
Yeah.
like if somebody was just dead in this room for them to bring in a new body like 2 minutes later they put okay we'll Mr. Baker in here like
Well,
and like
that's kind of how it works. That is kind of how it works. Like, I mean, especially right now, the hospitals are full. They need that room, so they're going to clean the room. But I would imagine, I mean, if there's ghost encounters, it's like if there are ghosts in every room that someone died in, the hospital's filled with ghosts. I mean, that's where people die. So, uh, but so I've never been in front of someone when they went from alive to dead though. I've never had that happen. Everybody usually makes it because in the recovery room, if you look like you're going in a bad direction, they're going to get you to the intensive care unit. They're going to transfer you over. So I've had some people that looked like they were headed in that direction,
Yeah.
And we did what we could in the recovery room, and then we moved into the ICU. And
Hey,
some of those people survived, and some of them did not.
Phil, who actually works for a hospital, it said HIPAA, like HIPAA
Yeah.
laws. You can't don't be talking about this stuff. So we're being
Well,
as
you can't say I'm not saying where I work, or I would never say any names, but just in general, this is how
we're
the hospital works.
yeah we're speaking hypothetically.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, I mean, this is in general. That's how the hospital works. If you're on a unit that's not the ICU, you're going to do everything you can to get that person to critical care before they pass. So I would imagine, somebody has passed away in a recovery room. I'm sure it happens, often enough, but I've never seen it, and I've been a nurse for 5 years, so I
what
guess that's good.
what is the craziest thing that you've heard hypothetically pulled from an orifice at a hospital in strange nurse conversations?
Oh man.
Where you're like, dude, I heard there was a guy that had a Red Bull, or oh yeah, you think that's weird? There was a model train, like what's the, because I know I've heard nurses have this conversation before.
Yeah. That's a thing that happens for sure. I mean, there are memes. If you follow nursing meme pages and stuff, they have nurses like that give you the tutorial on if you're going to put something in your ass, make sure it has a base so that will eventually stop. You know what I mean? Because apparently that's the problem. Emergency room nurses are constantly encountering people who went too far into the abyss. You know what I mean? And they had to go to the hospital. So we're not saying don't do it. We're just saying do it right. Be smart about it. You know what I mean? Answering for a friend. Welcome to the Advice Podcast.
Uh,
Use something with a base if you feel the urge. And that's not even my joke. That's an emergency room nurse had posted a meme like that one time where it was like, here's a quick tutorial on if you're going to do this, this is how to do it. Yeah, I've heard of that happening a lot. It probably happens more than the average person would.
my my brother's a PA, and that's a question I've been meaning to ask him for a long time because he and I have that kind of sense of humor where actually all my brothers have that sense of humor, but I
Yeah.
need to remember to ask him about that. Um, oh, here's the one. Condoms. Why do men hate them? That's a silly question. I would say
Is that a nursing question?
it's not a. That's just a question I had. I took a screenshot. I'm like, this is will be fun to answer.
I'll tell you this. Here, speaking of condoms, I'll mix that condom question with a nursing, and I'll give you a nursing answer.
All right, let's do it.
Sometimes you have to put what they call a regular catheter is a tube that gets inserted into your urethra, and it's to drain your bladder if you've just come out from a big surgery. But they also have condom catheters, it's a condom, and then the tube goes into, like, you could see somebody wanting to, if they're going to the Red Hot Chili Peppers concert and they want to be in the third row, but they also want to drink margaritas. You could see somebody putting a condom catheter, and it's got a little bag with a hose connected to it. And exactly what everyone's picturing is what it is.
Yeah.
It's a condom, tube, and a bag. And but the nurses have to apply these to incontinent patients a lot of times, and it is way more difficult than you would think because you're applying a condom to a non-erect penis that's not your own. And that is a tricky thing to do.
Wow.
Like flaccid penises, it's not easy to put a condom on a flaccid penis. It's tricky. And it's tricky to come at it from a separate angle too. You're not the person that you're putting it on. So that's a skill, and I don't have that skill. I always ask a colleague, do you think you could do this for me?
It's a skill I do not have.
Yeah. But why do people hate wearing them? Well, that's a very simple answer. It's a one layer between the true touch. You know what I mean? So I guess that's why.
Yeah, I think so. Why do people
I don't think they hate it either. People hate it. Some people hate it. Not everybody.
hates this person seems to have had a lot of encounters with people that don't like playing it safe. I don't know.
Yeah.
Do we? How about some comedy? You guys want to hear comedy questions? You want to do comedy stand up? We've got stand-up experience a little bit.
We do. I'm
Both of
not a professional. I did it on the amateur level from 2006 to 2012.
what do you recommend for somebody starting out? How do you get started in the comedy world?
Oh Lord. I don't think this question is on the internet at all. No,
Yeah, I found this on a Reddit. I was looking in there, like, how do I? There was all kinds of people, like, how do I get started in comedy? How do I get started? You know, everybody
yeah.
sees these. You know how it is, man. You see a Netflix
Yeah, for sure.
special, and then you go down a rabbit hole of watching specials, and then you hang out with your friends, and your brain is in stand-up mode, and you start telling jokes, and then you're like, dude, you should be a
Yes.
stand-up comic, and then you're like, dude, I'm ready. How do I do this? It's like being a musician. It's not that easy, but it's not impossible. So
It's actually extremely hard. It's not hard to get started. It's extremely hard to get all the way to where that's your occupation. That pays the bills. That's a very difficult task. And now probably more difficult than ever because I mean, comedy is like the new rock star, you know?
yeah.
And so everybody wants to be a comedian nowadays. Like in 2006, when I started doing it, I feel like it was still slightly like you had to kind of be in that weird nerdy group of I follow comedians and stuff to want to do that. And now everybody, I think maybe Netflix and all the specials that exist and all the content online and YouTube and everything has made everybody think I can do this. And it's a very tricky task. There's a big difference between you are the funny guy at a party in front of your friends who know you and know your personality
Yeah, it's like
and
being a
going up
YouTuber.
cold on stage and being able to make a bunch of strangers laugh when they have their arms folded. You know what I mean? So that's the trick, and that's what a lot of people find out when they finally start it for the first time. They go, "Ooh, I did. I went and watched an open mic at Cap City, and I thought, ooh, I'm not good at leaving these in my ear. I thought to myself, uh, oh, I'm gonna murder this. I'm gonna do so amazing. These guys are like, I'm watching an open mic night, which is traditionally it's pretty bad. Most open micers are not that great. And so I'm picturing myself, I'm gonna go up there and just do amazing. And then I went to the Velveeta room a few weeks later for the first time, and I'm like 29th on the list of like 32 people. And I'm going up at like 1:47 p.m. like right before the bars close and there's three people left and it's just you could hear a pin drop in the room and I did a blatant Mitch Hedberg impersonation. Like I saw Mitch Hedberg and I thought I'm gonna be goofy one-liner guy, and I went up there and I did like four one-liners and to dead silence, and then I walked away and said, well, that didn't go how I wanted it to go at all.
Yeah, the funny thing about open mics is that all the comics that are there, usually it's the entire room is full of wannabe comedians, and some real comedians, and they all have egos and all think that you suck, and so they're all wanting you to fail. And not every time, but a lot of places,
Right.
man. There was one.
There's drama in there. There's drama in the comedy scene. But and then if they're not even, they might not be malicious. They're just apathetic. They have their notebooks open and
Yeah.
they're anticipating their turn on stage.
Exactly.
Because they're going to go up and impress the audience that they think is there, that they haven't realized is just a bunch of other comedians with their faces in their notebooks preparing. So, yeah, going up in front of a bunch of other comics, but making them laugh is a even bigger feat. You know, if you can get people to laugh who are nervous about going on stage, you know, that's a good sign.
The best
But
the best one, I went to a few where people were just like like you said, they were waiting for their turn, you know, and I might get a little chuckle here or there, but for the most part, and that's not to say maybe I was terrible, you know what I mean, like that,
yeah,
but I remember going when I did Cap City open mic, I felt like I killed it, and my theory afterwards was because everyone that goes to a comedy club is going. Did you hear how my voice went up? Goes to a comedy
yes, I
club.
noticed that.
Yeah.
My ears perked up when you did that.
Yeah. They're all going to laugh at comedians. That's who goes to a comedy club. So Cap City, it was like the place is full of people that are there to laugh. When you end up doing some
Yeah,
open mic at like a coffee shop where everybody's trying
like
to study.
Pluckers.
Yeah, we, our pluckers like we just need some Baker's Gold and a side of ranch. And could you tell this guy? Can you turn this guy down? Or like
Yeah. There's a
at
game on in the background. There's like the College World Series on in the background that everybody's wanting to watch, or they want to have a conversation with their friends. And then they get up and they tap on the mic and they go, "All right, everybody, we're going to need y'all to turn your cell phones off and be quiet." And they go, "We're not doing that."
yeah, I
So
came here to
that this
shoot
guy can come
pool.
up and, yeah, so that this guy can come up and tell what is likely not going to be material that's going to make them laugh.
Yeah.
But you have to go through those gigs. You have to just be rejected constantly for it's not going to happen constantly. You're going to have good nights, but you have to learn how to really just feel the rejection and swim in that soup for years and then just become a hardened version of yourself till you don't care and you get up on stage and then you start finding out your style and how you want to do it. But it's a road and you need reps. It's like you got to have reps. It's kind of like math. You're not going to learn, you can't just learn the concept of uh, calculus and then know how to pass the test. You got to do a bunch of calculus problems over and over and over again.
Do you ever find
So
do you ever find yourself telling jokes at work, like with patients?
I, Clint, I find myself in life and every interaction I have with everybody. I'm constantly, I don't tell like street jokes like two guys walk into a bar. I just feel like I talk about my life, but I feel like my natural cadence is I go into like storyteller mode. So I end up when I end up telling a story, I go into storyteller mode, and I do know some of the tricks. Like it, the reason I did it for 6 years and not 3 weeks was because I had a little bit of success up there. I kind of started to figure it out, you know, and so and those now I just kind of like implanted into the way when I start telling a story. My wife Katie can even she goes, I know when you're going into storyteller mode. You like you get this like different stance and it's almost like I feel like I'm doing bits, but really I'm telling honest stories about my life. It's just I found them amusing, so I want to spread the joy. So everywhere. Bartending was one of the best things. Bartending because you and the other guy, and it's almost like a two-man show. You and the other guy are messing around. Y'all are, you know, breaking balls, cracking wise constantly with the, and you're constantly getting a new influx of audience members, and I don't know, just gabbing. You don't even have to be trying to tell jokes. Just gabbing and yapping with people is working that muscle.
Yeah, yeah.
I told you the other day, my best shows were when I would leave from work and go straight to the stage after I've been yapping all night as it's like I'm warmed up already.
Yeah.
Whereas if I took the day off and I'm reciting my lines and I'm going through the house nervous and thinking about the show later that night and I get there and I'm super cold. I'm not Mr. I've been bartending for 6 hours and I've been and there's beads of sweat on my forehead and I've just been yapping up and having a great time. That guy's more likely to be successful. So bartending was a great way to work out that muscle.
Yeah, bartending's fun. That's always a good time. I've come home before and after bartending and jumped on online and been like completely warmed up and able to talk, you know, publicly.
Yeah.
It's funny. Anyone thinks they could be a comedian. It's like being a YouTuber. Everyone thinks they could just start a YouTube channel and be a YouTuber.
Yes. Yeah. It's you have to. I think I heard it said once because there's so much material out there about comedy because there's so many comedians that have podcasts. But I've heard it said, and I don't remember who said it, but basically they said you have to treat it like an Olympic sport.
Mhm.
Like you have to dedicate your life to it. And if you're not, I wasn't doing that. I was doing like one show a week. You know, in Austin, when I moved back to Austin in 2010, there was an open mic almost every night of the week. You could go to some coffee shop on Monday night. You could go to Pluckers on Tuesday night. You could go to Cold Town Theater on Wednesday night. Thursday night, they had the Velveeta Room. There was something going on every night. I should have been taking advantage of every single one of those shows, but I wasn't. I would do like once a week. And when I realized like this isn't something that I'm trying to dedicate my life to, I'm treating this like a hobby. And if you treat it like a hobby, it's never going to turn into anything.
Yep.
So I kind of backed away from it.
It's
But
the same. It's the same with being a musician. It's like if you're a musician all the time, and then you have shifts that you work throughout the week that to pay the bills a little bit, but your actual life is being a musician. It's like when you're a bartender who plays shows sometimes, that's one thing. But if you're a
right,
musician that bartends sometimes, you're a lot more likely to make it. You know what I mean?
yeah.
You gotta treat it like that. You gotta treat it like a job, and it's of the
Yeah.
utmost importance. So
Well, that's what most of them, when you ask them, they go, well, I don't know what other thing I would have done. I would have just kept trying. It was either the future or bust. It was either I'm going to make it or I'm going to be the crazy guy on the side of the road juggling with a bucket next to me. You know what I mean? Like it was all or nothing. They were willing to put all their chips on the table for that. So there is a little bit of an edge you need. You have to have a little bit of craziness. And not that, nowadays that's not always the case. There are people who like I think Dimitri Martin was in law school when he decided. And then there's I can't remember his name, but the gentleman who was in The Hangover, the Asian guy.
oh yeah, he's a doctor.
He was a real doctor.
Yeah,
And then he decided to start doing movies. So it's like, you can, but you have to be willing to. I guarantee you, both of them put everything they had. Once they decided they were doing that, they put it all on the table and worked at it a
and,
lot.
and how
So
weird is that to be you're like a full blown doctor, and you're like, cool, I'm quitting doctoring so I can go. But you know what I mean? Like it's pretty crazy.
yeah,
But granted,
uh,
he was still a doctor when he got the Hangover role, and that's what blew it up. But you have a lot of people like Conan
he nails
O'Brien.
that role. It was not the or he was also in Knocked Up. He
Knocked
played a
Up,
doctor.
yeah,
Yeah,
and Knocked Up. That's the role that I think got him his career,
maybe
basically.
so.
Yeah.
I like that story. I'll repeat it as though it's fact.
There's a lot of interesting people too that are famous actors and stuff that went to Harvard. It's weird. Well, man,
Yeah.
we're down to we're losing viewers. They're dropping like flies. So I think it's because we've passed the 10 p.m.
Maybe so.
hour. So we're gonna shut her
Who do we
down.
have left? Let's hear.
Yeah,
Who's
let's do
watching.
roll call. Who is left? And as far as comedy goes, Phil says, I'm worried about my mom. She's 80 and she was struggling with the seatbelt like she didn't know how it worked. Then it clicked.
Yes.
Yeah. Who's left? Anybody? Anybody there? We're shutting it down here in a sec. I just wanted to now we're
This
gonna
was
get
fun. I'm bad at I don't know how good I am at relationship advice. Maybe I'm not
Hey,
the right
you
person.
did pretty good. It's really just about
Yeah.
having a conversation with the gang who's
Yeah.
listening.
I mean, there are complicated people end up in like complicated situations in relationships that some of which I've never even dealt with. And luckily I haven't had to deal with this stuff so yeah.
Yeah.
If you think somebody in your family needs therapy, definitely go in with the soft approach and try to figure out how you can get them to the right people.
Yeah. What it boils down to is don't be an asshole. Communicate and be considerate of other people and communicate. There you go. That's the basics in life
I love it.
all around. Yeah, here's a good question. Good question that I'll save it for next week. Fuck it. All right, man. Well, let's shut her down. We've been on an hour and a half, so we've had a pretty good run tonight. So, hour and a half. It was good.
I love it.
Yeah. Well, gang, like Chris said, let me see here.
Hey, everybody, don't forget to like and subscribe. Click that notification bell.
Oh, Kim said, "Good show, folks." She just gave us a what's up, and
Kim had some good stuff in the comments. I liked it.
yeah, thanks, Kim. As always, guys, if you need help, National Suicide Prevention Lifeline, 1-800-273-TALK. That's 8255. 1-800-273-TALK. If you're having a hard time and you need to talk to somebody, give these guys a call. And if you feel like, well, this isn't a 911 absolutely dire emergency, but I'm still like, I don't know what just call these guys and they'll refer you to somebody. The important thing, like anything else in life, is that you take the first step. So if you're having a hard time, give these guys a call. Chris, again, thanks, dude, for joining us. You don't have to hang up just yet. I'm gonna do the like, share, subscribe, click the notification bell so we can let you know about future videos. And Mia will be back next week. And if she's not, we'll get Chris back, or I'll just
Or some guy on the street.
Yeah, I'll just find some dude on the street. But anyway, I had a good time, man. Thanks, Chris. Always have fun.
Awesome. Always a pleasure.
Guys, thanks again for watching and participating. This was a good one. Yeah.
Don't forget to stay
suicide
free
text
safe.
line. Thank you, Kim. Suicide text line is text home to, there you go. So if you need help, there's a lot of places to go. Do a simple search. Write these numbers down, whatever you got. But anyway, here we go. We're out of here. We'll be back next Tuesday and every Tuesday forever.